Hi again, everybody. I'm still Jeff Burr, and I'm still with the Tattooed Spirit. We're moving on the second line, these inner influences that affect our deeper selves whenever we take the time away from the outside world. That's the first line of the tarot that we just did. The second line is whenever we begin to be more consciously aware that there's an inner life whenever we take time out of our activities and begin to focus kind of like, what is my life all about? Why am I here? What's going on within me? We learned that in the strength card, it's about this is where the strength, the inner personal willpower comes in to say, let's direct our attention inwards. And that leads, actually, it leads right here. This is the card of just withdrawing from the outer activities of your world, to take time away. Those people that act in the world, you know them. You all know them. Sometimes they're even you, like sometimes they're me. I'm hoping it to be more times me. That act in the world as if they know who they really are. They know that whenever they speak, whenever they do something, it is their authentic self coming through. That's because they've all experienced, worked with on some level, probably not even consciously aware of it. Not many people have heard of the Hermit before. But whenever this card comes up and you see this card, you'll understand that it is a stage that naturally follows whenever the curiosity has been sprung, just by the fact that you've been on this earth a long enough time that it's just time to begin to look deep within yourself. This is the card of self-reflection, the card of, like I said, removing yourself from the outside activities and meaningless sort of duties that just take up all the time of our day. This card is interesting, and this is all the cards are my favorite, really, if I need to be honest, but this card has a particular interesting meaning to me. And whenever I have a client in the chair, and whenever you find yourself on a day saying, I want to particularly work with what's happening with what this card represents, what is going on whenever I remove myself. This card inevitably points, in fact, literally his gaze, the Hermit's Gaze, points to another card, which is going to take a significant amount of time to talk about. That's this Devil card that scares a lot of people. Actually, we can sort of give you a little glimpse. It's going to appear right here. The Devil card is going to appear right there. And that's the part of you that whenever you take the time to really investigate sort of what works for you in your life, you begin to notice all those things that no longer serve you. I don't want to cover two cards with this. We're going to talk about this Devil card later and how it's all basically that which doesn't serve you. But you get the first glimpses of how to best affect positive change in your life whenever you embrace this meaning of releasing yourself from the outside activities of the world, and you begin to just contemplate who you are, why you're here. The bubbling of that which does not serve you begins to be noticed. Begin to be noticed, I guess is probably more accurate to say. That's how we work with this card. This is how I'm going to teach you how to work with this card once we get through the meanings of most of these cards. That whenever you see the influence of this card, it means that you have the ability to take time away, and that you should work towards taking yourself away from these meaningless activities that just swap your hours away from your day. Which is what this kind of means whenever you might see it reversed. This is a sign for your subconscious to begin to what I guess is interpret that your days are just taken away by just too many things. Okay? And this also is a way of showing you that perhaps you're living your life in a way that's not immature, but it does show a bit of immaturity to not really understand the hows and the whys you're going about your activities. When you spend your time inner reflecting, you understand why you're doing your life. You understand how you're doing your life differently. When you find yourself just doing one thing after the next thing, because then there's the next thing you have to do before the next thing you have to do, you waste your days, you waste your months, and indeed your years, not understanding even why you're here in the first place. That's what it means when this card comes in reversed. It could mean also just a fear of people, so that in case you do say, and you can kind of say to yourself, well, that's not really what I do because I spend a lot of time by myself. Maybe there's a fear as far as you dealing with other people, which is why you spend so much time with yourself. Not that you're inner reflecting, not that you're removing yourself from the outside world activities to know yourself better. Maybe you're just doing it to just avoid other people. And that is not healthy, because as we learned with the Lover's card, that's the only true way that you can learn about yourself, is to see yourself through the eyes of another, which is how you do it in all relationships, and in this card in particular, those really close interpersonal relationships. So next card is called the Wheel of Fortune, and I'm really excited to tell you about that card, because it really gives you an idea of the holistic, once you spend enough time here, the revelations that you begin to understand and begin to see the cracks under the door of what this all means to spend this time alone. The revelations that come flooding in, we're going to talk about in the next card. Okay? So we'll see you soon. Please come back to see the next video. All right, bye.